Welcome to the program Power to Unite with Elvira. For the past several episodes, you can see we encounter and interview several diplomats, several chefs, several bishop and cardinal. So this year, this time, we were very lucky here in Phnom Penh because this is unbelievable, but I'm very proud. It's an honor for our country to be able to interview a Ramon Magsaysay awardee last year in the Philippines. Who is he? He is none other Mr. 𝗘𝗶𝘃𝗏. So what we are talking about, you wait for it because it's a beautiful life story. We are united in love. God loves us. Love is so powerful. So we will see now what love can do to bring different countries together. And all of us have this mission. Welcome, Mr. 𝗘𝗶𝘃𝗏, to the program Power to Unite. And I would love to say thank you so much for giving us your trust, your time, your effort to be interviewed today. I know you are a very shy person and you feel you don't deserve the award given to you. But I think it's really a great honor for the Philippines to recognize somebody who did so much for his country. And we hope that the Filipino youth, especially now, the post-millennial and the millennial kids can learn something from your experience. I know you encounter a lot of hardship, so we will not talk about what you are doing now at the moment. What is important is, can you narrate to us how is your life before you become a refugee, what your parents are doing, So a little bit background.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and it's I would love to say salamat po, and I love the Philippines. It's a great honor to be on this program. Also for the Philippines, which I regard as my adopted country. I love all the Pinoys in the Philippines. I grew up in the war in this country, since the Vietnam War. So since I grew up, I always hear the sound of the bombs, see the planes, the guns, the curfews. So sort of beginning of my life. But
how old were you at that time?
When the 𝗘𝗶𝘃𝗏 came, it was 14.
Oh,
so when the 𝗘𝗶𝘃𝗏 came to power, it was 14. And very unfortunate that I left home alone. So I was separated from my parents, my brothers and sisters.
How many are you in the family at that time?
9. I'm the youngest.
So 9.
Yeah,
so it's a big family. Yeah.
We have a big family. My mother's still alive. She's 93 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah, but she lost all her brothers, sisters, some of her children, lost all her parents. So she's not far away from here.
She's very tough.
She never cry. It was her that I'm doing this for her. Since I grew up, I have never seen her crying with all the hardship, with all the difficulty in life. Particularly when I was tortured by the prison guard, she didn't even cry. And I sort of question, where is love? Where is protection? So it's sort of both love and anger. It took me 2 decades to understand, to save my life, that she had to hold back a tear.
Imagine.
And that it's made me at first very angry. Why people have done that to my mothers? Why they have done that to all mothers in the countries? So I'm very touched to mothers because of that.
By her love and sacrifice.
I think that's, love can go that far by even holding back a drop of tear. Because in order to preserve a piece of your precious things in life, your children. But I couldn't understand that, when that took place, when I was tortured among peoples for the crime I did not commit. I'm still in mushrooms to feed my pregnant sisters. But I was very upset that seeing her among the crowd and didn't come out.
Cannot do anything to
save you. Or ask for forgiveness or protect. But it took me 20 years to understand that.
Imagine.
20 years. But that it's become who I am. That's built up who I am. That built up my understanding of love from mothers and others, that I have to do this not only to fulfill her love, but also to earn love from the enemy, from those who also suffer me as well. So it took a lot of courage of her in doing that for me. So I'm grateful with this experience, rather than living with these horrible things, and I can shift it and twist it to something positive for myself, for my mothers, and for others.
I think without you knowing it, you are the one who gave her courage to go on to continue life. That's why she became very
she believed in a dream. When I was a little boy, she was telling me that when she's pregnant, then she lost me in the jungle.
Okay.
And she was crying. And then she found me on the mountain, looking east. And she believed that I would be better if I'm apart, if we are apart. So I think that it's, how could a mother expect a son to be apart so that he can grow successful? But she held on to it. She believed in it like a destiny that I have to be away. So when the Vietnamese came, the country was chaotic. So she actually sent me to the border for education. She believed in education. She think that I can feed you, I can look for food to feed you, to cook for you, but you must earn education, because education will bring you happiness, will make her happy, will bring a better life for myself. So I left to the border at the age of 16 or 17, alone, to the border of Thailand, and ended up living in the camps for several years. I was very young to understand things around. But in 85, 86, I was accepted and was sent to the Philippines. That's where life-changing that occurred to me. I think had I been living in Thailand all the ways, had not been through the Philippines, it would have not been so much different. Because when I arrived in the Philippines, I remember I took I think 𝗨𝗶𝘄𝗶𝗵 airline or something. We were greeted by Catholic Migration Commission teams in Morong Bataan, and took the bus. And I remember the road was zigzag like this. Road, you got dizzy. But then, soon after we arrived, there's no barbed wire, there's no military, there's only priests, churches, and people will give us potatoes and corn. And I still remember they called us my friend. And I was so flattered, like this is heaven, and it's so free. I didn't know that Philippines that was poor, but I thought it was so rich, having this potato shell with me. I thought it's like, it's food from heaven. So I was very grateful for that. And in the Philippines, it just gave me so much of hope and refreshings. Prepare myself for today and also for the futures. And
How many years did you spend in Morong?
About a year.
Went to the
about a year.
Because that's a transit.
Transit, yes, by a year.
We will continue our beautiful conversation sa pagbabalik ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
R is now at Radio Bandido, an informative program that tackles all issues concerning all walks of life, delivering hottest issues and events, with health consultations on air and a lot more, with your host veteran newsman 𝗣tože𝗶𝘄𝗲 and master entrepreneur 𝗨𝗶𝘄𝗲. R sa Radio Bandido every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. You can catch R on DZRJ 810 a.m., Radio Bandido TV channel 224, TV Plus boxes, and streaming live on Facebook/DZRJ 810 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 810 a.m. Radio Bandido.
I found out when I was involved with the Philippine National Red Cross and also with the ICRC when I was introduced. So I was given a brief background. I went to Thailand
Yes.
to visit the biggest refugee camp. So I have seen the problems. As a refugee, I saw the pain, the psychological impact, which will be very difficult to heal.
But you know, in the Philippines, refreshing.
Yeah,
When you
but
arrive
in the
there,
Philippines, it's quite different.
It means so much to not just only to me, but almost everybody,
Everybody.
who went through the Philippines. It was like, even today, you know, when we heard some problem, we always come together, send the money to help the Philippines with typhoon, things like that.
Typhoon Haiyan,
Yeah, without
yes.
asking. I think that people don't realize that people have so much to give, more than money, power that can be compared. And that's my experience in the Philippines. And I think that in the Philippines, people tend to be like equally, you know, treated. Doesn't matter the color of your skin, your ethnicities, your background, your social status. People just, you know, just so freely. In the Philippines, you sort of like have a chance to put the past behind and prepare yourself. So that Philippines take all the suffering, all your suffering, and you left it in Morong. Then you start a new life, you know, into the future, and you return and visit them, and they're still there. Actually, one of my English teachers got married and still live in Morong Bataan.
Oh, okay.
I visited her last year. For me to go there, I want to be a proud son of my adopted mother.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Okay.
You know, I don't mean that I don't like the award. Of course, I'm honored by the award, but I want to return home and proudly tell my brother, sister of the Philippines, and my adopted mother that I'm somebody for the family, to be honest. So I told Mrs. Isabella, one condition, if I have to go in person, you must arrange a trip for me to the camp. And she agreed, actually. We also found people who work there that can join me as well. So the whole buses of people who worked there 20, 30 years ago through Facebook, we managed to find them. So it was a great trip, and I think that I fulfilled an obligation as a proud son to my adopted mother in the Philippines. I want her to know that I never forget her. So that she fed me, she gave me corn and potato. Here I am, and I want to honor her.
Now that your process was successful, you were in America, you stay with your relatives. So how is your life there?
In America?
Where did you stay? New York?
In Texas.
Texas.
You know, I was a little bit, I was not young, I was 18, 19 already. So I had to struggle with a new life in America, go back to school. But I always remember my mother said, why go back to school? So I was struggling with school and graduate, things like that. But I always want to come home because my mother never left Cambodia. And I actually returned to Cambodia for the first time working for the United Nations election 1992. First time I returned to Cambodia, so I met my mothers. But the country was still at the difficult time. You know, it's still a civil war among all the Cambodian faction. And my mother was worried about my safety, so she sent me back to the state again. So I thought of, you know, why we can never be together? You know, why love have to be apart?
Yeah.
Why have to be that way? So I resist that I would do anything just to return just for her. So when I look through all her life experience, one of the most difficult, perhaps one of the most happy time for my mother was during the most difficult time in the Khmer Rouge time. Because during the Khmer Rouge time, she was everything to us. We grew up in the city. We don't know how to cook. We don't know how to catch crab. We don't know how to survive. My mother was everything. My mother she had no education, actually.
Okay.
She's a peasant girl, but her love is just more than anything that
shines.
Yeah, shine more than anything else. She knows how to tell the times by looking at the sky. She knows when it's going to rain to protect us from being, hit by the rain. She knows how to get the roots of potato to cook for us.
It's a gift.
And when we were sick, she knew how to get the bark of the tree to heal us. She was everything. And I think that's perhaps one of the most happy time in her life, to be someone that we look up to her as a mother rather than look up to her fathers.
She's really a Wonder Woman, for all of you. Without her toughness, without her life being, so that's why when the 𝗘𝗶𝘃𝗵, she has to endure the pain in order for all of you to survive. If she resists, maybe all of you will go away just like her brothers and sisters. That's why she knows what to do. She's a very, very courageous woman.
But it's upset me because she's a person. Why she never cry? Why she never complain with all the hardship that she had to endure for us? Why she never, have a good life? Why she always have to be in difficult situation?
She had to get used in order for all of you to survive. That's a great sacrifice from a mother who doesn't explain everything because you don't understand. But for her, she has a reason in order for all of you to survive.
With that, I want to build up myself so that she can
be proud,
be happy, and that the value of her love for me, that's all I need. She doesn't need anything from me, even today. But I think that the love that she shown us, it's bigger than the ocean. As in the Bible have said in the Palm chapters.
So when she found out you finished your education based on what she dreams of you, she must be one of the happiest mother.
That's not true, it's kind of funny. At one point, one of the reporter, actually CNN, Christian and Manpool, want to speak to her. I said, please, don't bother my mom. She's a peasant girl. She doesn't know anything. But she insists. So I said, okay, talk to her. Like this, she asked similar question to you. This is her question to my mother. You must be proud of your son. That, with all this success or all this effort that he has made for the country. You know what my mother said? She said she's happy that I'm safe.
Yeah.
That's what she responded. And she was like,
so innocent.
She said, I'm happy because my son has food to eat and he have clothes, and I'm happy. She didn't get it. She didn't think all these things as something that she may have wanted me to do for her. I think that at the end of the day, I began to understand that mother wants nothing from you, but that you are safe, you can take good care of yourself, you can help others, and that perhaps that's what she wanted, but not all this thing that we have heard of me, And I began to understand that love from a mother, it's beyond what you can imagine. And that's all you need to be better yourself, is to love your mother the same way that she loved you. But for me, it's a mirror, because maybe I grew out of this culture. I want her to tell me. But in this culture, people don't really share your silentness or your internal courage, because it loses the value. But maybe I grew up with this culture, so I wanted to hear from her. At one point we talked, we hardly spoke each other. I asked her, because when it was torture, there's among all, many people were watching. It was a crime that a young boy picked up mushroom from the rice field. It was a big crime, so we were watching. And then I asked her, were you there among the crowd? You know what was her answer? She said it was late.
She doesn't want you to feel.
So should I question her or should I stop? Because, I was blurred whether she was there or not, but according to my research, that you cannot say no to the high up order for such an event. So she must have been there. The entire village have to be there. otherwise you can be executed.
Imagine.
But her answer that she was late.
Because she doesn't want you to feel more suffering, more pain. But anyway, you know, our conversation is really very interesting, but we will continue sa pagbabalik po ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
𝗨𝗄𝗲𝗵 is a news-oriented program that tackles topical issues and headlines with the support of DZRJ field reporters. Hosted by the legendary Jimmy Morato, Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 a.m., Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 a.m., and on YouTube channel DZRJ 810 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Mr. Yuk, that was very, very interesting, your relationship with your mother. So I saw while you were telling, you become what you are today because of your mom. And she saw it's only through education that you can do something to help the people, to help the country, to be of service. And it's her dream. You know.
She actually asked me to forgive a lot. You know, at one point when I returned, I was looking for the village chief who was responsible in killing my sister. And she said, yeah, I met him. The village chief came, brought her bananas, flowers, and he asked for forgiveness. I said, what did you do to him? She said, I forgive him. It was so difficult, you know, when we witnessed the killing of my sister, and then she still can forgive the perpetrators, and telling me that I should do the same thing. I think that it's made me think, while working on this, made me think about respect of the law, education for the young generation, and that, so that the circle of evil won't be repeated. And that's why I more focus on the respect of others, differences, and let the law of the countries deal with it, rather than personally take revenge. And all of this, it's come from my mother's. It's not from schools or from books. It's just like her commitment to not just only love her own children, but also to forgive others.
That's a very great.
And I was divided with my mother at one point, and also one of my nieces, who's the daughter of my sister, who was killed by the person who asked my mother for forgiveness. So we were divided on what injustice means to my sister, to my niece's mom, and to my mother daughter. So we were divided. You know, so when we look closer, I think that if we can earn respect, also love from those who suffer us, perhaps it's the most healing things that she perhaps enjoy. With that, you know, we support her. I support her initiative, we support her wish. So I think that I would do anything to make her happy, to become happy mothers.
She understands that the one who did the killing of your sister sometimes doesn't want to do it, but the higher authority is watching.
I think what she gave me is a guidance, but yet I have the freedom to make my own decision. I do this. While I'm doing this, she was always like the voice that remind me about forgiveness, about respect of others, about education, about better life.
Is she Catholic?
Pardon me?
Is she Catholic?
No.
Okay.
She's a peasant girl. She actually comes from a very poor family background.
What's her faith?
She lived with nature. You know, she believed in spirits. It's like a dream.
That's good.
But you know, her guidance has sort of shaped my work and the way I think. In dealing with this, one of the biggest crime in the 20th century, and she was my guidance. Because you hate many others, it's just too many of them. But then if you make effort to earn respect from them, by comparison it may be much better. But she never tell me what to do. Yeah. One thing, she always give me the freedom to decide.
To make decision.
My choice. But she always the guidance, telling me certain things.
Will you allow me to have another part 2 of our discussion?
Sure, no problem.
Because this is the beautiful things that I'm also learning by listening. Napakaganda po ng buhay ni Mr. 𝗄𝗏, di ba? In spite of the tragedy that is out there, but the guiding light, the guiding hope of his life is really the mother. So you see the importance of being together, bounded by love in the family. Everything should start in the family. I hope you will come back and watch the part 2 sa susunod po na linggo dito po sa programa ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
𝗨İ𝗶𝘶𝗶𝗵 with host Sunny Ilustre digs into current events and human interests. All viewers and listeners are invited to take part in the discussion. All opinions are welcome and respected. 𝗨İ𝗶𝘶𝗶 is open to assist those experiencing injustice. The motto of the show is, if God is with us, who is against us? Seen every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air channel 29, facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, or on YouTube, channel DZRJ 810 AM, Radio Bandido. Join Arnel Doria as he explores the world of travel, transportation, road safety, and the environment. Tune in to Good Trip every Saturday at 1 to 2 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, and YouTube channel DZRJ 810 AM, Radio Bandido.
Welcome to the part 2 of our program, Power to Unite with Elvira. Kung napanood po ninyo ang part 1 natin, di ba napaka-interesting yung guest natin na walang iba kundi si Mr. 𝗄𝗏𝗏 Awardee last year, which is a great honor for our country to recognize his sacrifice, his work, his love for the country. So ano po ang pag-usapan namin dito sa part 2? Siya po ang subaybayan nyo sa pagbabalik po ng Power to Unite with Elvira. Mr. 𝗄𝗏, so welcome again for giving us another chance to know you, to know more about your life. This is very interesting, special part 1. At least I've been telling, all my interviews, the importance of the family. And you really proved to that, even as a Cambodian, is still relationship in the family plays a big role in molding what you are today, So we will go back to your life in the States. So you see the differences of culture, right? You receive so much love, warmth, and caring attitude from the Philippines. Then suddenly here you are in America. It's so big, it's so huge. You have a lot of money.
No,
at the time, because they gave you free everything.
Yeah.
You were welcome. Do you feel there is lacking there in America?
Sensitiveness to others. The liking is that people don't listen or sensitive to other, and people are so much different in the state. But yet, you know, the liking also is that the world itself, or become two individuals. The liking are not look at the immediate family member as a sources of hopes, of developments, of better futures. People can become so individuals in the state, that you on your own. But I think that without family, it would be difficult. Because you come from a family, and you can have your own family. How can you be individuals without a family?
Were you in shock?
No, I was not prepared.
Because everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to go this to big, because they saw hope in there. The dream is really to be there. And then when they were there, they were also shocked. This is the kind of life that I chose to be. You know?
But I see America as a land of opportunity. If you fight for it, if you want something, you have so much room to maneuver. So for me, get the best out of it, and then bring back to my mother, rather than be there and suck into the system that dragged you down. So you pick the best one.
Okay.
Best, you know, choose the best school, the right school, choose the best friend, you know, choose a good business and do the right thing. There's so much out there, because big. So when you select the best one, then bring it home. And avoid being, you know, getting stuck with all the problems out there. Because when it's so big, also it's everything too, good and bad at the same time. So in America, I was not shocked at all. I was well prepared from the Philippines. I speak English. They also would teach me how to get a job.
Okay.
They also taught me called cultural orientation, to understand the cultural differences, the English, the works, you know, the environments. So I was not shocked at all. Actually, I was sent to the Philippines as a team leader, guiding leader of 12 Vietnamese families speaking no English. So I was a team leader on the plane. My job is to tell them not to steal fork and spoon from the tray. So it was about 12 families who speak no English, all Vietnamese, were part of my groups, and I was assigned to lead them to go to the same direction in the state. So I was have a little bit of leadership role from day one since I left the Philippines. So I look after this kid, their parents, they have a big bag, ICM, their medical checkup, their paperwork. So I make sure that they carry this, and they go to the bathroom, put them to sleep, check the time for them, make sure they know how to eat butters or, you know, bread that they were giving on the plane. So when they get down, make sure that you contact the agency to pick them up. So I was given a little bit of responsibility, and I do it well. I did well.
And it makes you feel busy. I think that helps a lot for you to forget the self-pity that you have, right?
So I think in America, it's, I would say that the great thing about America is also freedom. You feel it. You feel you can be on your own, do things that you like, but you also have to be alert all the time because so many things happening. So I lived there for a while.
Indirectly, you are challenging your mom. You have sacrificed so much, so I will prove to you I can also survive like what you did, you know.
Yeah, see, my mother...
So it's a challenge.
My mother guided sort of a reminder that whatever I do, that I have to justify to respond to that reminder of her. And, you know, I make some mistake. Honestly, I make mistake in the state. I did things I should not have been done. But then it was her, a guardian, that picked me up. When I about to fall, she picked me up. When I about to fall, she picked me up. It was her guardian that picked me up all the time.
A mother is a mother. The instinct is there, no?
So I about to fall many times in the state, but then she picked me up.
What do you mean by what mistake did you make?
For example, you know, I planned not to finish school. You know, I planned, for example, to do something else that's not doesn't care about others, go to business. I didn't pay my attention whether I should have returned to the country. A lot of things, it affected me, the environment in the state. There's so many things happening. People buy new car, people get married young, people drop school, people, do things that would not become who I am today. But when I about to fall, her guardian picked me up all the time, that this is not the right thing for you, you should do this. But we never communicated because there's no communication between Cambodia and the US at that time. But I can sense, I can feel what she told me since I was a little boy or before I left the country. It's always with me. So those become a reminder and pick me up. So I'm blessed by having her guidance when I live in the state, because so much is happening in the state.
These are the temptations.
Yeah.
You see, if you're not well prepared with that, you might fall. As she said, you might make a mistake, but her guiding light and her words is very strong with you. It carries you always because you have seen the suffering and you owe it to her in some way. Maybe that's the reason why some sense fell into you.
When I'm about to lie to someone, I stop. When I'm about to cheat someone for my own gain, I stop. When I'm about to do something that was not right, then I stop because of her guidance. So that is keep me straight in line. But I'm about to fall many times.
So how many years did you stay in America? Are you here permanently?
Almost. I returned 1992. It's about 15, 17 before I returned, but I went back again. I went back to the state again, to America again, and I went to work at Yale universities, and that they developed this investigation of crime committed by the Khmer Rouge, so I got appointed by the university and sent me back here again. And I stay here almost permanently, I think that early 2000. And then I thought that it would take me less than 10 years to put the Khmer Rouge leader on trial, but now more than 15 years. But I've been back and forth. I mean, here it's about my mother's, but home is there. And where that I would stop to have fresh orange juice is the Philippines. So I've been commuting.
We will continue our beautiful conversation sa pagbabalik ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
Good News Pilipinas with host Francis de Guzman is advocacy in action, which brings to you exclusives to enhance life's values that really matter. This program also brings forth guideposts on scriptural truths, giving hope to nations. Watch and listen on Radio Bandito TV every Sunday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. on Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 a.m., Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 810 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Mr. Yuk, because this position is very dangerous if the Khmer Rouge are alive at that time. But now, it's the right time to do something, to do documentation, because this is your work, right? At
Yes.
the Yale University, it's supported by Yale University,
Yes.
So if you did it 20 years ago, you might already like this.
Well, I did this.
But now is the right time.
Well, when I started, I have death threats every day, almost every day death threat. In person, physically, but I fought back, This is something that at one point the Khmer Rouge actually threatening my sister and my mother's. And then rather than calling the embassies or the UN Human Rights for Protection, you know what I did? I hired the police and went to their house and threatened their family too. I want them to know if they did this to my moms and my sister, who actually who were suffered by them, how would you feel they do that to your parents? We all have our own family. We all want to protect our own family. Why you harm others and protect your own? Why you kill others and protect your own? So I did that. I think that when it comes to this thing that I have to protect my mothers.
When you accepted this position, don't you think it's very dangerous when the last word of your mother was always to see you safe?
Well, actually, my mother wanted to send me back to the States many times. She doesn't want me to stay here. And but I think that if I don't face it, then my mother would remain as a victim of the history of them. So I had to face it and then to free her. And that now is my time to do it for my mother. It was her who looked after us, who protect us. Now it's my time to give her some justice.
Yeah, but at the same time also to bring peace to the country, to forgive and forget and move on.
That's why I focus on education. That's why I focus on the rule of law. That's why I focus on the respect of others. But at the same time, you have to put the wrongdoer in the context. Because otherwise, I think that this cycle of evil can be repeated. That's why I focus on children education. So
they have to know.
So they have to know. And then to know is to move on.
Yes.
Not to be hostage or enslaved by the past.
Yes, not to be imprisoned again.
Exactly,
by the
not
past.
to be enslaved by it.
I agree with you.
And if you know the past, then you can manage yourself and control the future.
And not to repeat.
Not to repeat, also be optimistic.
This is the most important.
And also be optimistic about the future as well.
Yes, yes.
But if you don't face it, then you got confused.
We cannot deny.
Exactly. It's the same thing like my mother advised, just a reminder to the younger, that you have to treasure your family, what you have appreciated, and believe in the future. And this lesson also can be your guidance. And you have the freedom to decide and to treasure your family. It's not forcing them to go back to the past and to acknowledge the evil things that happen to all of us. I don't want this to happen to any young people today.
So you can see from Thailand, when the Khmer Rouge took over, you went to Thailand, your mother protected you without you knowing it, then you saw the horror of the effect of being a refugee from Thailand, and then
to the
found a heaven where you were treated as if you are a person with no bad experience, but rather you were cared as if you are a son. And then when you were in America, you said you were not in a state of shock because they prepared you for it.
I was ready to build my life, my future. I was ready. I quickly went to the school registration. I get a job 1 week after. I did depend on their food welfare systems. I took carpool to go to the factories. I start to rise. I start to be very active in the community. I start to helping the church every Sunday. So I was ready. I just like nothing strange to me.
So when you accepted this position, this is what foundation? Is it the foundation, this one that you are handling now? How do you call it?
It's a program set up by Yale University program to document the crime of genocide committed by the Khmer Rouge that took away about 2 million lives of the Cambodian people. And the idea is to bring all this file to
experience,
to not just only to teach the young generation, but also to find some justice for those who survive, which is about 5 million people. So so I set up this place, and then sort of like becoming the independent research Cambodian institute and working with others around the continent, also working with people in Latin America, in Europe, in Africa as well, becoming like a hub. Changing the perception of victim to survivor to educator for the world, rather than living with the past, we twist it, become a piece of positiveness, of lesson for others to live a better life. So that's the concept of the center itself. It takes a lot of patience.
Yes.
You know, when we start this center is rather small, and it's, all the staff have no insurance. I told them, you know, we have to put our life in the hand of God. I mean, no one can protect us, and we have to, God giving us gift to do something, so do the best of your ability. So I think that it takes so much trust. You know, I think trust is important because that's the most broken things of all in this society. Trust, you have to be honest and sincere. And you have to love everyone equally.
And they should feel it.
Yeah, and it's free. I told myself it's free. Why not giving to everybody? Why not loving everyone without judging? Why not being honest with everyone without, you know, pointing finger at? Because it would take time, but it would be help them to see our real intention in the long run. And it worked. You know, from beginning, there's so much political around. There's so much pressures, so much thing. But through dedication, through love and sincerity,
Patience.
Patience plus patience. You know, it takes me 10 years to build such a trust. And then to maintain it, it's most difficult to maintain it because people can be corrupted with all this environment, with this pollution. So to maintain the most difficult thing, to maintain your sincerity, your honesty with the people you serve, it's the most difficult one.
To stay grounded.
Exactly. So that I told my staff, look at this. It's all free. We all have this. Why don't not giving to them and then keep giving? So that's what we're doing and how we build up this place become so big now, becoming internationally known. That those was the resources. Not money, not power, but I think that...
It doesn't take a month just to have this place, but it took years.
Yes.
That's to show you a successful project needs hard work. But we will continue our beautiful conversation. So I'm getting to learn more about you. Thank you so much. Magbabalik po ang programang Power to Unite with Elvira.
Contra Birada is back on Radio Bandido TV, simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Hosted by former spokesperson and chief legal counsel of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, attorney Salvador Sal Panelo. Watch and listen as he talks about the latest news topics and events. Monday to Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Sky Cable Channel 224, all DTT boxes, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 810 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Be enlightened with inspiring stories. Interesting biblical features. And insightful interviews with the pillars of our Catholic faith. Power to Unite with Elvira.
Mr. Yo, your life story is really incredible, and your acceptance of this project is really very challenging, but in spite of that, you took the courage because you believe young people should be guided, and you know that history should not repeat itself. Before you give a message to the Filipino televiewers, what are the challenges you are facing now?
There's three things, maybe three. One is, I think that one is a political challenge. Because everyone want to remember easy things, beautiful things. But we can be stronger if we also face the difficult things that happen. And that will be becoming very political. Second challenge, I would say, to mobilize young people to see the future in a positive way.
Yes.
They're very difficult.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. To understand that learning from the past, it actually helps you to build a better future. And the past, it begins from your parents. They're very difficult to create such a movement among the young population.
It's so frustrating sometimes, right? It's good you didn't give up.
Exactly. And the third challenge, I think that I would say technology, because sometimes we are trapped by technology, we are polluted by it, and rather than using it, we let the technology using us, and that actually is very dangerous as well. And many other challenges, but those are the three major challenges because involved with parents and children. You know, for example, the first one involved with the parent who suffer, who want this to tell to their children but would not be listened by their own children, for example, or to have the public acknowledgement of what took place, that this would not be repeated. It becomes very political. When I say political, meaning that not just only the people of the Philippines, but the world that now we live in that affected us. So those are sort of the three challenges. I actually used to write a paper. I don't call it challenge, I call it mistake I made, which is 29. I keep counting.
Yes.
I run the center based on question every day. What if I cannot do this for my mother? What am I doing here? So I question myself so that I can be better each day for my mothers, for my friends, for my community, for my country, and for people I know, in particular, the Philippines. So I ask myself, it's difficult, but I think that because where I'm coming from, and I have no other choice but to have to deal with it. But I don't want young people have to do the same thing what I'm doing now, because it's difficult. It's so much energy, so much effort.
Can you give a message to the Filipino televiewers? What do you like to say, or anything you like to share?
First of all, I love the Philippines. All of you are my friends. And I regard Philippines as my adopted mothers. And I'm proud to be a good son, to be someone that you can be proud of. And that because I look at my family as a source of education. Because I use the love from my mom to be better myself. And I think that I always be optimistic about the future. I think that I hope that all of Filipino young generation will do the same thing. Turn around to people close to you, your mom, your father, your brother, your sister, and listen to them. And then you always can talk to them any times. And you have to believe in the future that you can be a better person.
Diba? Napakaganda ng sinabi ni Mr. 𝗄𝗏, although he's a Cambodian, nakita niya the greatness of Filipino people, and his wish is that we are the same. We might be different colors, we might be different in our political belief, we might be different in our religious belief, but what is important, the one thing that stood up and stood out is really love that emanates from mother's love, from father's love, from the family. So you listen to him and he was giving all of you a message that we are so blessed, that God lead us, that Filipino will always be a part. And what is important right now is let the ASEAN country do something and pray for Mr. 𝗄𝗏 for his project so that we will not repeat the same mistake again. This is his dream, and I know it takes time. It takes a lot of guts, a lot of courage, that he should not give up but continue because the goal is very noble. Sana nagustuhan po ninyo ang aming episode hanggang sa susunod dito po sa programa ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
comments of the hosts